Okay, I'm back. Okay, now please bear with me while I get to the other chat thing, so I can see what's people are saying. I'm back. Okay. Please bear with me while I get to the other chat thing, so I can see what's people are saying. Death Trap. Hello. Okay, Death Trap, and I canceled out the other one. And I wish I could get everyone back. I well, not accidentally, I didn't think about stopping the broadcast. I didn't think about the repercussions of stopping the broadcast. So, how do I get to? As I'm going to invite. Here's the link for inviting. Copy. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put this here and say, hey, everybody. So, anybody wants to come and hang out? Hopefully that link will ruined. So is that link? Somebody try that link to see if it'll add you to the Hangout. Anyone? Is it still going? Can you see me now? What? Ruined. Somebody try out that link. Let's see. Can't join. Why? Doesn't work? Why doesn't it work? Let's see. Let's see. How am I going to add people? Comes up and dies. That's terrible. Anyhow, close. It should. I can't tell if it's light. Okay, I'm going to try to add. Who wants to get on? Let's see. Try this. Okay, that doesn't. The death trap I cannot add. That's not private. Let's see. Cannot add. Well, I don't. Apparently, I can't add people. I mean, it should. That's the link it's given me. Copy. Is this the same? Was that a full link? Was it going? Let's see. I'm gonna give the link again. Maybe I didn't do the full link before. Because it's not allowing me to. I can email. Or give me an email. Somebody give me an email. Paul, give me an email. Maybe that'll allow me. Death trap awake for 52 hours. That's terrible. As bad as I am. So I'm going to do this again on Monday. Because I enjoyed that conversation. It was kind of fun. Uh, Interesting to get a young person's perspective and to see the dedication to a religion, the undying dedication. Even if I'm wrong, I'm still gonna believe. It's crazy, and he doesn't see it yet. It's amazing how children can't wrap their minds around being wrong. They're so sure they're correct. Even even when they admit they could be wrong, they still hold on to being correct, and they don't see it as a product of how they were raised. They don't see it as anything more than their own idea, and that's difficult to contend with. Just that blind dedication. They don't understand what faith is. They think, oh, you got to have faith because they keep hearing it from people. You got to have faith, and they don't understand that you have to have faith when you have nothing else to go on. And it's sad. Hopefully, he'll figure it out when he gets older, but chances are he's going to hold steadfast to what he thinks he believes. So on Monday, I'm going to do 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is going to be kind of like the default time because I do not have my daughter on Mondays and Wednesdays, so that'll be the night that I do these, and possibly Friday and Saturday. Though Friday and Saturday is the night we should all be out having fun, not online having ridiculous conversations about religion. Um, but 9 o'clock will be kind of the default time because it's late enough and early enough. Uh, and I've got actually several people lined up already to have conversations with, and I'm gonna try to avoid having conversations with Darth Dawkins. That one I will limit it to a very short time because when you get into philosophical arguments, it goes nowhere. I like to bypass philosophy because to me, philosophy is just bullshit. It's you're making stuff up. So, oh, 9 o'clock. You're UK, so Central Time. It is currently 11 o'clock. I thought you were misspelling okay. So right now it is 11 o'clock my time. So whatever time it is, your time minus 2 hours. That's what time. If philosophy used wrong, yes. But when is philosophy ever used correctly? To me, philosophy is a method for coming up with questions, not for answering questions. And I guess using it wrong is when you use philosophy to answer questions as opposed to uh, actually come up with real questions. I wish I could add people. I don't know why I can't add anyone. It should be able to use screen names, but it's not allowing me to add people. It's only if anybody wants to give me a email address because I can add email addresses, but it's not allowing me to add with screen names. So somebody's on the East Coast. Beach Price. That's terrible. I'm terrible with names. Breathing pain. Breathing is a pain. I'd be a much better swimmer if I didn't have to read. or read. I'd be a much better swimmer if I didn't have to breathe. Yes, philosophy is boring. Well, it depends. I like philosophy when they're coming up with questions. I hate philosophy when it's used to argue because it's just you're using something made up to argue for something made up. Ontario. Have I been to Ontario? Used to live in New York, New Jersey, and Michigan. They're all an hour earlier. At here for email. Paul, you can direct message me email. Can you direct message me? Let's see. Even I've got shit to do. Well, let me ask you this. Was that an enjoyable conversation? Was that entertaining at all? I wish that I could interact more with you guys, but it's hard to interact with you and also talk to somebody. Let's see. Facebook. Facebook. You want me to use Facebook now? Let's see. Yes. Sign me in. Log. Oh. Let's see. Facebook argues with me. Okay. Messages. Can you? Messages won't come up. Let's see. That's that. Always fun watching somebody trying to figure out something on the computer. But with this live streaming, it's being very slow, lethargic, in fact. Where are you at, Paul? No, you're somewhere. Okay. It's so slow. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Paul, give me your message. Give me your email. I'm doing this on my laptop and I don't have all the screens. I don't have the room. Okay. You can believe that. Positively godless. I always find it fascinating for Christians or any theist to bring up the you can believe what you want to believe and I'll believe what I want to believe, as if what they believed was as reasonable as what I don't believe. Paul, when you send me your email, let's see. Less survey says no personal information. Of course not. Okay. Now we're talking. or at least we will, hopefully. Let's see. Let's see if it works. Survey says you're invited. I could get back to you. Let's see. What you said is not untrue, but that's philosophy. Nothing said in philosophy is untrue. It's the whole idea behind philosophy is trying to come up with answers, explanations. And it's good to come up with the explanations when you have nothing else to work with, but we have lots of things to work with. You know, the whole brain science is based on philosophy, the philosophy of the brain, because we can't really know yet. And when we do know, then it's philosophy is going to be just meaningless because it was all made up. Yes, that's why you like science. Science is just it's coming up with actual facts, where philosophy is just winging it. Now, come on, Paul, I added you. Didn't you get the invite? Let's see. Let's see. I didn't. Guess it didn't go through. Yeah, the kid's dad came in like at the beginning, and I thought he knew what was going on, but apparently he didn't. And I wasn't quite sure to, once I realized it, when I talked to my friend, I was like, I think this conversation's gone long enough. Um, when the video started, nothing yet. Let me try it again. Maybe I didn't do the whole email. Copy. Okay, Paul, we can try it again. V invite. Oh, that's or let's see. Okay, tried it again. Google Translate. Yeah, his dad walked in. I was initially under the impression that his dad knew about the conversation he was having, and I guess that was something I didn't even think to check on. I should have, had I been a reasonable adult. I should have told him. And really, I didn't even realize how young he was. I should have, but I didn't. So for some reason, I was thinking he's older. I should have said, "Go check with your parents. Make sure your parents know that you're having this conversation with an old guy." But I don't know, just didn't think about it, which is kind of dumb on my part. I mean, as someone who's a parent, I certainly wouldn't want my daughter having a weird conversation like that with some old guy. Uh, Paul, Google doesn't like you. Well, it's filling you in. It knows it's you. How about if I try it this way? How about I try it this way? Try that. So, I mean, I have a weird thing with kids where I treat kids basically like adults. Well, not like adults, but I give kids more credit than they should get, I guess. Yeah, I forget sometimes that they are much younger, undeveloped minds. I talk to them as if I don't say adults, but I do. I talk to kids as if they were adults. Oh,
A second, let me close the other window.
hello.
Okay, just close the other window.
How you doing?
All right.
Not gonna actually have a conversation. I have this habit of just talk.
That's fine. Talk.
It's hard for me to read comments and
No, I missed your conversation. Me and my son, I just bought the movie Coco, and we were watching that, so I had no idea what you said to the kid.
yeah, I haven't seen that movie yet. Been having the conversation online for a while now. And I knew he was a kid, but I don't know, it didn't register he was that much of a kid.
And how much of a kid is that?
Well, like 12, I guess. I just
12's not young.
It's not young, but I forget the fact that I'm over 50.
Well, by that age, I already dropped God 6 years, so it was not young.
Yeah. For me, I'm always thinking, when did I first become an atheist? And the idea of atheism never even occurred to me until I was like, I don't know, maybe 15.
No,
It was my exposure to Dawkins that made me think about what atheism is.
yeah, but see, Santa Claus and gifts.
Yeah, but I mean, but not believing in God. It's like I
Yeah.
didn't believe in God, but I
Yeah.
had no. That wasn't atheism to me. I didn't know what atheism was. That was not a word that was
Right. That's
ever
a title.
brought up.
Atheism is a title. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what the word is. It's what you do.
Yeah. Well, I think of atheism more as like the active to actively think about whether or not God is real. And having come to that conclusion. When I was younger, I didn't believe in God, but it was just because it didn't make any sense. I didn't actively think, is God real? No. Like Santa Claus is like Santa Claus. I actively thought Santa Claus isn't real. But God was something I never accepted as being real. I mean, it was never real to me. So I never thought about whether or not it was real.
It never came up in any family discussions.
Well, they talked about God and talked about going to church.
Yes.
But talked about Santa Claus. So when it occurred to me that Santa Claus wasn't real,
right,
and nothing changed. No, my parents never told me Santa Claus wasn't real. It was like
my mother.
It was obvious.
Yeah.
But we still, I still got presents that said from Santa Claus. So Santa Claus and God were kind of the same thing. It was something that we talked about as it was never like real. It was like always make pretend real. Like God is as real as Santa Claus. God is at church. We talk about God the same way we talk about Santa Claus. So it was always never like the whole idea that believing that God was a literal thing never occurred to me.
Okay, well, it did to me because I was dealing with people who talked about it as though it was real.
Yeah, but I mean, it never occurred to me that anyone could think it was actually real.
Well, they went to church and did the BS, so that's about as real as you can get.
Well, we had Christmas and presents from Santa Claus, so I thought it was that kind of real.
Why would they? They didn't build any churches to Santa Claus. They didn't sing any hymns to Santa Claus.
Yeah, Christmas carols.
Go through all the stuff and talk about heaven and hell for Santa Claus.
Well, I think I was lucky. I was never really exposed to the concept of hell when I was younger. I never had anyone tell me that if I don't believe, you're going to hell.
Okay, real quick. My parents were not super religious when I was a kid. My grandparents weren't. It just was in conversation and being around other people in conversation. Okay, that's how I dealt with it. But the reason I became pretty much non-believing in the whole shit and caboodle was because I was in, like most kids, when you're young, you're into dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And I would read everything I could out of the school library on that. Then I got into astronomy, but pretty much to say dinosaurs. And everything in those books talked about what they found so far, what they thought was going on, why the dinosaurs, remember, this is before they knew about the asteroid, what might have killed off the dinosaurs, blah, blah, blah. But never once was there anything that this is how it is, this is how it is, and this is how it is. It's always speculation.
Yeah.
Then you go to the church side. This is how it is. This is how it is. And we mean it. And there was always a denial about dinosaurs. Now you've got Ken Ham who's got dinosaurs his ark. Over the years you slowly see them assimilating things that have been found and try to work them into their freaking their God and all that stuff, and that's why I find it so funny. Anyway, like I say, here I am, a kid reading these things, nobody's dictating to me, and then you go to the other side and they're dictating to me, and it doesn't line up. Reality did not line up with church at all. And for a while, of course, as a child, God, okay, God, but the Jesus story never made any sense.
I like with my grandparents, church was always like, that's the thing that you do. It's like I had to go to church. I didn't have to believe it. I just had to go. I mean, that was very clear to me when I was younger, because when they kicked me out of Sunday school, it was like, okay, if you're not going to get along with them, you can go somewhere else. It was because my parents didn't go to church. I mean, my parents were divorced. I had to go to church, but it didn't matter which church. So it was never a matter of this is what's true and you got to believe it. It's just religion. This is something that you're supposed to do. And it was never dictated to me that I had to believe it. And for me, it's like other people believed that the religion was true. And I never really made the connection that they believed the religion was true because they believed that specific God was true. I just thought they believed that particular story was true. It just never occurred to me that they thought there was an actual creator of the universe.
Well, unfortunately, it occurred.
It was just so far removed from reality that I just gave everyone the benefit of a doubt that they can't really actually believe that crazy nonsense.
I would bring up about, like I say, dinosaurs, and I always got the negative feedback. Oh, we don't know what those bones are, blah, 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 blah. All kinds of negativity. And I'm going, why would these people be digging up shit and lying? What's the purpose behind that? But no, I knew there was these people that believed in a God.
Yeah.
Like I said, at a very young age, I pretty much stumped it because, once again, it made no damn sense because all these people praying and Uncle Bill still died.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell happened, shit still happened.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how much they hit their knees.
Yeah. And for me, when growing up, religion was always like a cultural thing. My father's side, they're Jewish, and Judaism was great food, great dinners. but it was a cultural thing. It wasn't until I was like 17 that I met my first young Earth creationist who, like, seriously, God, of course God is real, and the devil and all that stuff. That was my first exposure to somebody who was adamant. I'm just like super adamant that God was real.
Yeah. Well,
and I came home and like, this guy's crazy. And had, you know, my parents go, of course God's real. I was like, what?
There's a short story I want to do. It has to do with God, of course. And hell is going to be part of the package from the story. Because, you know, he goes to a tavern. God.
Yeah.
And it's a miserable day. Every day he goes to this tavern, it's a miserable day. And he's talking to, I'm going to have, it's still working on my head. He's talking to the tap, you know, what do you call the guy?
Bartender?
Bartender, but whatever, you know, there's another terminology. Anyway, so he's talking to him, and the guy says, gee, it looks like you put on a lot of weight. He says, well, my son came up with this real good deal, and I don't have to do shit. And he says, what's that? Hell. What do you mean hell? And he goes into explains what hell is and all that stuff. And since people believe in that, no matter if I do anything or not, they're not going to get on my bad side. It's going to be my way or the highway, right? So no matter what happens, everybody's killed in the plane, God's wish. One person is saved, God's. No matter what happens, it's God's plan. And I don't have to, because they don't want to go to hell.
Yeah.
Because at one time, you know, you had all the different gods.
Yeah.
And he was one of them. And if you didn't do shit, people go to another temple.
Yeah.
So you had to do something. And now he doesn't have to do squat because everybody's afraid of hell.
It's a very effective tool.
A very effective tool.
Out of hell.
So much. How many times has somebody right away said, oh, this or that, and next thing you know, here comes the hell shit.
Yeah.
Aren't you afraid of hell?
That really bothers people when you're not afraid of hell.
Yeah. Yes.
Which I remember in college, I was having some conversation with a guy in the student union, and he was a true believer. Just tell me God's real. And I was just telling him every kind of crazy conspiracy nonsense thing about religion that I could think of. And after about 15 minutes, he just lost it. Like, you're going to hell! You're going to hell! I'm just like screaming at me in the student union. And I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about.
See, that's the thing about it. I go to atheist groups, and then you go in there, and after a while, you find out what their ex-religion was.
Yeah.
The biggest percentage of people who drop out is Jewish. You got no hell.
Yeah.
See right away. The
It's
next one you run into, that's the biggest one group of people, is Catholics. See, they never read the Bible to begin with. They're told not to read it. We'll read the Bible for you.
Yeah, we'll read. Yeah. You just listen to what we tell you.
And my wife's last 2-3 years of life, she dropped it, you know. We used to go down, I was down in South Florida, and we used to go to the JREF and see James Randi. What happened is, if he was around at the end of the month, it was the last Wednesday of the month, if he was available, they would have an open house and you have meetings and stuff. So I got to know him quite well. And at the end there, he was getting very popular again. The room he had, it was a library to Isaac Asimov, whatever. I always had a problem with
Asimov.
They were good friends. I got a few stories there about him and Randy. But anyway, after a while, I would leave the room because they were running out of seats. And I've heard all the stories several times. Yeah, he talked about Isaac. You know, he said when he used to, one day he called him up and he hears this click, 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 because he had the world record for the longest time for for a mechanical typewriter. Isaac, you know, he was a prolific writer. And what he would do is his wife would get how he had the reel of paper. It's all blinked. She would, she would screw, push it over so she could put a black line so he knew when the next page was. So anyway, he hears this typing And he says, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm writing a book." Remember, he's talking to Randy, and he's running a book. He says, "What you writing?" "Oh, it's something about the sun," because he made some, books on, science and stuff. I used to have them, but I got rid of them. But anyway, yeah, yeah, typing away, and he's having a conversation. Think about it. And him and Carl Sagan were good friends.
Yeah. No, I've met Randy a few times.
Okay. Yeah, the first time I
never made it to a TAM though.
Yeah, well, first time I got down there, about after I was down Florida for about a month or so, I emailed him. I said, "Gee, I'd like to meet you." He says, "Well, come down anytime." So I, locked on the door, and I can't think of her, Linda or whatever. She opens the door. Yeah, he said, "Okay." We sat in the library, and he came in a few minutes later. And he talked for about an hour. Very congenial. And as I was leaving, then he told me about the meeting at the end of the month. But yeah,
that's one thing I've found to be true, that the majority of people in the atheist movement or the skeptic movement, a lot of these people who I really look up to, like, that I'm starstruck by, that I've met now, and they're all just like the most regular people.
Yeah, they back give a shit.
I mean, there's no
no airs.
The only one that's had any kind of airs has been Bill Nye.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but he was on TV. He's a TV star. Yeah, but Randy was he was a guest on shows. Bill Nye had his own show.
Well, Randy, he would talk about like how he got Penn and Teller together, which is no big deal. He was having in Philadelphia, you got the Franklin Institute, and there's at least one or two halls, and he was talking, and then he happened to be talking, I guess, with them, and they were like, your street vendor kind of people. There were guys that had acts on the street, and he just introduced them, and then they went on their way. He didn't get them going per se outside of, "Hey, Penn, here's Teller," blah blah blah, that kind of a thing. Yeah. And they went on their way. Then he said they had an act at some place in California, some little bar or whatever, and he said this was a terrible act because they're still getting their shit together. It took them a while to find out what worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I was lucky that way. I met him and a few other people. I say you've met a lot others, but yeah, by and large, I mean, like I said, I belong to the hub here. It's called, and the singer, she came. I'm so horrible for names. That's what my late wife was good for. It's like, Rain, what's his name? What's their name? And Shelley.
Oh, Shelley Siegel.
Yeah. It's funny because I met her the first time in Texas. I was visiting in Texas, and it's funny to think that they had the largest atheist group.
Yeah.
Houston. You would never think that. But then look who the mayor was. A woman, Democrat, and gay. So in some ways they are progressive there. And then I was down Florida. That's where I was living at the time. But there she is again. I said, "Hey, remember?" Yeah. And then here I'm in Denver, and I'm not following you. I'm moving around.
Yeah. I was not involved at all in the
Aaron Raw. Aaron Raw met down there a couple of times in Florida because that's when they first started the Darwin Day.
Yeah.
Okay, in the college there. And he was down 2 years. PC Myers, he has problems. And close to Bill.
Yeah, Aaron's funny. He's a big, scary-looking guy, but just super friendly.
Oh yeah. Well,
second time I met him at one conference, and we talked quite a bit. And the second time I met him, was for another conference, but we were away from where the conference was at, and I saw him on the street, and I just I waved hi to him because I knew he was, but he's somebody who meets like hundreds of people all the time, and it was hysterical. He looks at me, and goes, "I know you." I'm like, "That's nice."
Well, I know when my wife was still alive, we were talking at lunchtime and stuff. And I said to him, religion, science doesn't know everything, but religion doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
And he used it a few times. So I said, you got that from me.
Nope. You got I've heard that many times.
Randy stole one from me. I watched him do it. He was going to have that talk at TED. And he brings up homeopathic medicine. That's one of his favorite things. Yeah. And so anyway, you had to make it 18 minutes. So at one of the meetings, he's going through his rendition, see if he's got the time, any thoughts. And after he gets done, and I'm mumbling to myself as usual, I said, yeah, one guy died of an overdose. Because the stronger, the less it is, the stronger it is.
Yeah.
He died from an overdose because he forgot to take his medicine. And I see him jotting down something. Yep, he used it.
Well, that's always fun.
And Brandy have stolen from me. I'm hurt.
Just nudge you. That's one of mine. I've met Arn a few times.
Yeah.
Delonte I've met a few times.
Yeah, Matt Dillon, he was here. And I said to him, I said, you look like, younger in person. He does, to me. I mean, I seen him sitting there. He had a guitar or whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, you Matt? I said, he looked like 10 years younger to me than what he should have been. Because I'm going, you're his brother?
Yeah, he was in Chicago last month. He was doing the stage presentations with Sam Harris and Lawrence Krauss. So I got to hang out with Matt during the day, and then backstage I got to meet. I've met Lawrence Krauss a few times now. I got to meet Sam Harris.
Sounds like he'd be fun.
Harris. Huh? Yeah.
Lawrence sounds like
Krauss is.
I said Lawrence sounds like he'd be fun because
Yes. He's somebody when he's at a conference, he's there at the conference. He's he's there to socialize and have fun.
And then you're talking about philosophy. Then you got Sam Harris.
Yeah. Sam Harris, he just looks like he's stoned all the time, and he talks like he's stoned all the time. He's just very. I was expecting him to be a little different in person than he is. I don't know why I expect him to be any different, but he's intense and like stoned at the same time.
Yeah, I would love to have a nice, good round robin with those guys. I really would. Because I didn't have my father and my grandfather were great talkers forever.
Uh-huh.
When I used to be lectured to, see, I lectured to my son 5-10 minutes, and my wife went crazy. I said, Lorraine, I used to watch the hour hand go by like the second hand for lectures, and they would go on about all different things.
Yeah.
Politics, you go through it. So I know I had a lot of influence of how I think about certain things because of their lectures.
Yeah.
And my grandfather right now be turning in his grave with Trump in there. Turning his grave. He was a Democrat, but he gave his reasons why.
Yeah.
He says, think about all the stuff done by the Republicans for the little man. The list is extremely short.
My entire family is Republican. I consider myself independent. But when I suggested that they were going to vote for Trump, they all got pissed off at me. Like,
No,
well,
they were going to.
I know you're not voting for Hillary. But yeah, they none of them like Trump.
Well, that's good. I'll split my ticket. I mean, if there's somebody better on the other side for something, I'll do it. But lately, no, no. Right now, I'm not going to give them anything.
I've grown into the habit of voting for the newest, the person with the least experience. Anybody new.
See, it's good and bad because unfortunately, you got to get your feet wet for a while to know where the connections are. So that's the problem we do with a lot of people in business. They get up to a certain age and we get rid of them. And we forget that they know when a problem comes up, they know who to call.
Yeah.
They know who's got the solution because they've been through this before. So you can't really get rid of all that empty. You know, some of it.
Not all of them, but the problem, well, I'm in Chicago and we are entrenched with people who've been there forever. And it's the people who've been in there for a long time are the ones who know how to get money so they can pay for re-election.
But like I said, well, then you vote those people out that don't do what you want them to do.
I mean, I want, and I've had this conversation with many people, and I don't think I'm saying it very well because it seems very clear to me that we should be able to vote no on someone, especially when there's only one candidate. We should be able to actively say, not vote for somebody else, but to actively say no to this person.
Okay, I understand that. But I like how it is in Australia. And there's probably other places too, where you can vote for your first one and your second choice.
Oh, yeah.
And there's more, you can go down the line. That way, you can vote for an independent to show you're not happy. But if they don't have enough votes, now your vote goes to the second one you want. So you don't throw your vote away, but you can show that you weren't happy.
Yeah.
And also, I do believe, unlike some people, I do believe in mandatory elections.
You mean mandatory voting?
Yes, I believe in that now. More than ever, especially after the last election. More than ever do I believe in mandatory elections.
Well, I think most people don't go because the apathy of there's nobody, I don't want any of them. So they.
Well, shouldn't this last example be a good indication that logic isn't very good? Because I've been posting a lot on Facebook. Now I don't do it on my own page because I don't want no shit on my own page, but I go to other pages. And I said, I don't want to hear anybody say it doesn't matter who's president anymore. I do not want to ever hear that again. To say they're all the same. Because if you can't see that there's a difference, you have a major problem upstairs. Something is not working right.
Yeah. The only hope that I had for Trump was the same hope I had for Perot. Was somebody, I was halfway hoping that Trump is so ballsy and so egotistical that he'd be like, fuck everyone, I'm just going to do whatever I want. And maybe he actually do something positive. But he's still kowtowing to everybody and he wants the popularity.
Everybody I talk to indirectly, in the sense that I'm not there to talk. I mean, I'm at a store and we get talking because the elections are coming up and then blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm from New York. He said, this guy says, and Trump, all he does is, walk in, do a spiel, walk out, and he doesn't give a shit.
No.
He doesn't know how to manage because he never had to manage. Everybody else manages for him. And he's great for reneging on monies.
Yes.
So, and then to listen to him talk, anybody can't see that he's a clown when he speaks. Something is wrong. I'm sorry. We got a lot of people in here that need to walk close to a cliff and a little
nudge.
See, I always used to be about the good old days, back when the Wild West was still wild.
Yeah.
Because you can take those people who are a little bit strange. Why don't you go west? Hopefully something would eat them. Probably got that from.
Well, I think the only reason why Pence is the running mate is nobody's gonna kill Trump with Pence being second choice.
Well, the reason for him because of the so-called people with morals.
Yeah.
And isn't it funny how much they've been bending over for the different candidates that have been shown to be anything but moral?
Oh yeah.
And I blame it on religion again, because they have to make so many excuses for how their God acts in the Bible. They have cognitive dissonance,
Yeah.
double think. I remember
Yes.
back in high school, double think, with 1984, double think. And that's one term that really stuck with me more than anything, because two opposing ideas is both being true at the same time. And people are great at it. They can compartmentalize things and, this is true. Water is dry, but water is also wet. But water is dry, but it's also wet,
Well, I keep hearing people say, Trump was God's choice. If he's president, then obviously God wanted Trump, so Trump can do no wrong because Trump was God's choice. What about when Obama was president?
Wrong. I thought we had free will.
No.
You have free will, and somebody gets automatically in. See, there it is again. Double think. We have free will to do what we want, but God has us vote for Trump.
Yeah. Well, the conversation I had with that kid, I asked him if he had free will in heaven. He's like, of course you have free will in heaven. I said, so you're free to kill and murder and rape and whatever in heaven. He goes, oh no, you're automatically happy in heaven. You're just happy in heaven. No worries, you're just happy. I'm like, that's not free will. Like, of course it is. Like, nope.
God couldn't get the earth right. What makes you think he got heaven right?
Yeah, I've never accepted any of it, so it's still hard for me to really understand how anyone can believe any of it is true. I mean, most atheists I know used to be religious. I mean, Matt Dillahunty and David Smalley were deeply religious. I mean, they thought they were going to be preachers, so they know the feeling of believing.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had that. I've never truly believed. So it's still hard for me to understand.
But you said you were from a Jewish family, and I can say, and probably conservative, or not conservative, probably more liberal.
Well, no, half my family was Jewish. The other half was Christian.
Yeah, but still, you have that influence.
Yeah.
And they don't have, like I say, they don't have the help. That's not they don't have the heaven either, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even the Christian side, it was all very, religion is just what you do. Going to church is just what you do. It wasn't about believing. That was just what you did.
Okay.
So it never occurred to me that anybody in my family ever truly believed until I was considerably older.
All right. Well, not that I heard it a lot, because like I said, in the beginning, my parents weren't very religious. I mean, I didn't really see it.
Yeah.
And every so often I get shuttled off by somebody else to Bible class on Saturday, whatever the hell they had it.
Yeah.
And the only thing that was good for was doing the the parish, making moats and then pouring the what you're going and making things. That's what it was good for. Or you take the sticks, the ones for ice cream, the ice cream sticks, and you make them, you glue them together. That's what it was good for. The other stuff, I would sit there, whatever you say up there, But then my father, my parents divorced when I was around 13, and my father, his wife, Josette, who's still alive. Anyway, she's French. She married a GI, came over. That was a bad arrangement, and they divorced. Anyway, and so he became Catholic because it's the oldest religion when it comes to Christianity. And then my mother became maybe 20 years ago, she started getting around the born again stuff. Yes, what's up?
I joked that my mother was so close to born again that she was in the birth canal.
Well, my mother, she really, and I always say to people, I say, I failed my mother. She became a born again. I should have got her into science and stuff.
Well, none of my family was into science. I mean, they have no clue who Neil deGrasse Tyson is. Like, oh, didn't he do like Cosmos or something like that? I mean, they have no. If it isn't associated with TV, they have no idea who it is or what it's about. There was no science in my household growing up. No interest. No. I mean, I was into dinosaurs, of course, as a kid, and evolution. But no one in my family had any interest in anything.
No, same thing here. But my father was a machinist. He used to work, lathes and stuff like that. Matter of fact, we had a metal lathe at home and shit, so he was a machinist. So I got very mechanically inclined because of that,
My father was a salesman. Not sure if
Bullshit.
Other than the ability to talk. Yeah.
Bullshit. You just need this. Yeah. What is it? It's a swiggle. You need a swiggle. Best swiggle you ever get right here.
Yes, my father is very persuasive. But my family never got that into politics. Nothing about science.
My grandfather
and church was just something that you did. I mean, it was like the church.
Like I said, I was never really stressed when I was a child, but people I ran into, then that's a different story.
Yeah.
But my grandfather, politics, very strong.
Yeah.
I guess it was my aunt. I'm trying to remember who told me the story, but when my grandfather would be right by the radio on election day, listening to the different.
Let's see what time it is.
Yeah. I'm lucky. I can take my glasses off and still read over there. I'm not exactly a spring chicken. But
I wasn't sure if it was 11:47 or 1:47.
Yeah, it's 10:47. You got all wrong. So anyway, they said, he used to sit around the radio and listen to the different districts and stuff reporting in back in the old days. He pretty much knew what's going on. Of how the election was going for whoever. Loved Roosevelt. But he would be turning his grave right now. He'd go down there and take care of Trump himself.
Yeah. It's funny. I remember arguing with classmates about candidates, but at home there was never any conversation.
No, my parents not too much. Like I said, my grandfather, he was the one into the politics.
Yeah. It's how I'm raising my daughter is so completely different than how I was raised. I mean, I was the youngest of four, and then my father remarried and had another child who's considerably younger than I am. But it's just like kids should be seen and not heard kind of thing. It's like, your child, your opinions mean nothing, and just go run out and play outside. And my daughter, I engage all the time. I mean, her biggest complaint to me is that I'm always trying to make her think, which I think is funny, because she's like, "Why do you always want me to think?" I'm like, "Because I mean."
Oh, one thing I wanted to bring up, you said one time you can't teach your kid to be an atheist, and I don't agree with that. listen to me out, and you can yell at me.
Yeah.
But Margaret, my one friend from high school's mother, matter of fact, when I used to visit Houston, I
Yeah.
used to go see her. Her, my wife, me and my wife, and then later on, my wife died just myself.
Yeah.
And she's an atheist.
Yeah.
Every one of her kids isn't an atheist. Why? Because she never told them why she was an atheist.
Yeah.
So when they got married, they got, they got that hook in the nose from the spouse and
Yeah.
became whatever.
Yes.
Because they weren't told
Yes.
the reason.
Haven't you been watching my videos?
No, I've been watching your videos, but you have brought up a couple of times one time that you can't teach your kid how to be. Yes, you can. You can show them how the world works.
No, you cannot teach a child to be an atheist because with religion, there's dogma, there is doctrine, there's something specific that you can teach a child. With atheism, there's nothing. All you can do with a child is teach them all the other religions and prepare them to understand that religion is bullshit.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
You cannot teach them to be an atheist, but you can prepare, instead of indoctrinate, you inoculate them against.
That's what I'm referring to. That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, but I mean that's not teaching atheism. That's protecting them from religion.
No, that's what I'm saying is when you teach them, when you show them how religions are dogmatic.
Yeah.
You got to show them the problems with them.
But that's not teaching them atheism. That's teaching them religion is bullshit.
Isn't it people who say they read the Bible and they begin to really read the Bible?
Oh yeah.
I mean, well, see, that's the same thing. They're learning atheism the back doorway. You're looking at it. You're looking at it as no. It's not. You're not teaching them atheism because there is no dogma.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can't teach atheism because atheism is a lack of something.
Right. You're filling them up with information.
You can inoculate them instead of indoctrinate them. That's the difference.
Well,
religion is indoctrination. Atheism is inoculation.
Well, it was real funny. One time, before I moved down to Florida, my wife and my son were watching, what's his name, that con artist.
Which one?
Oh, yeah, but it's the one that I somebody out in the audience, I have a W. I have a W. The one that Randy's going after. And
Peter Popoff?
No, not another one like him, the younger one. My son's upstairs. I don't know if I call him. So anyway, but I came down on them both because I pointed out all the bullshit they weren't seeing.
Yeah.
I said, "Do you hear how many times he's asking questions? Why does he have to ask so many questions if he knows already?" That's teaching atheism. You're making people think. You're making people not trust what they comes in first. Ask questions on it. Find out what's going on. Like I say, dinosaur bones. No, we don't know what those bones are. We don't know. Bullshit. They're dinosaur bones.
Yeah. When I was 17,
I go to the museum here in Colorado, and once in a while you got volunteers and they're there with their specimens or whatever. And I say, how often do you have young Earth creationists come up to you or whatever? And they say, normally they don't get too many. This is Denver. It's got a lot. If somebody's bringing somebody to the museum, they're probably not indoctrinated into the other bullshit.
Yeah.
Because everything's right there.
And I met my first young Earth creationist, and he told me that the dinosaur bones were planted by the devil to trick us. And I thought, this guy is a loony.
I said, why would God make a being that strong that can do that? What kind of God do you have that has these misfits running around loose? Not so powerful and all wise, is he?
Yeah.
Testing. Okay, what can you learn possibly on this earth that you can in any way use in a perfect heaven? What can you use? What can you learn here when you go to? There's no death. There's no poverty. There's nothing. Everything's happy, happy, happy. So
Yeah.
what are you learning down here that you can possibly apply to heaven?
Well, that's what I said. I was telling that kid. I said, it's like, he was asking me, don't I want to go to heaven and be happy and whatever. It's like, on earth, knowing that life is finite makes me appreciate it. I'm happy to know people because I appreciate the fact that they will not always be around. In heaven, you don't give a fuck. People could be around, everyone's happy and they will be there forever. Who gives a fuck? How can you be happy in heaven if you don't give a fuck? But kids, they don't understand that.
That's funny. At age 12, I understood all that shit. But like I said, I used to get these lectures.
Yeah.
And a lot of processing, a lot of learning, a lot of stuff going on.
And that's what I'm doing to my daughter.
I do something wrong. My father goes through the gamut of things.
Yeah.
And
that, I think that's an atheist trait because that's what I do to my daughter. She complains, Mommy never gives me these lectures. I'm like, well, because she doesn't care. She thinks God's going to take care of everything.
So is your daughter atheistic?
I told her that she could not decide until she was at least 12, and she's 9 now. I've been very clear with her. It's like, your mother thinks God is very, very real. I don't. So you have to decide on your own whether or not you think God is real. But what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to teach you all the religions and why people believe their gods are real and how many gods there have been and how many different religions there are. And basically make it very clear that religion is all bullshit. Her mother, I used to read the Bible to her when she was little. I got the brick Bible. Yeah, somebody did. I forget her name. It's tricky because when transgender woman who's a guy when wrote the book, but now it's a woman. But it's a brick Bible, so it's child friendly. In fact, a friend of mine, Joey Kirkman, wrote a book, Bedtime Bible Stories. And I used to read these to my daughter, and her mother would get so mad at me. Why are you reading that to her? I'm like, it's the Bible. Well, you're not supposed to read that part to her. I was like, hey, if you want her to believe this shit, you got to give her all of it. So
isn't that funny? That's the whole thing. My mother, she would have to go get the the red letter Bible, whatever. Yeah. What Jesus said and stuff. And I feel like saying, I didn't know Jesus had enough money to have somebody follow him around, some scribe follow him around and write down all the shit that came out of his mouth.
Yes. Well, I tell that to people all the time. It's like, you really believe that somebody was following around Jesus, dictating, writing down everything he said? Like because you're quoting Bible, you're quoting Jesus at times when Jesus was by himself. So who wrote that down?
Double think. Yeah, that's what I say. You got to point that stuff out. Who was writing this? Oh, hey, that was good, Jesus. I like that. That was good. What else did the devil say to you? Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, you're the Son of God. You got everything. And he tried to get you to buy into him because he's going to give you this whole earth that he made.
Well, that's the thing. And I was having to tell this to this kid. He goes, Jesus is God, and God sacrificed his only son, which was him. So it's not much of a sacrifice. And he died, but he came back, and God knows everything, so he knew he was coming back. So again, what's the sacrifice?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. He doesn't know what's
all to forgive your sins that he set people up for. I mean, it's
yes. Yes, that's what I'm saying about doublethink.
I say, do you believe the story of Adam and Eve is true? It's like, well, that's just a story. It's like, well, if that's just the story, then the whole story of Jesus makes no sense, because the whole purpose of Jesus was to forgive the sins that were started with Adam and Eve. So if Adam and Eve didn't happen, then there's no point in Jesus.
Yeah, so Jesus died for our sins, but we're still sinful.
Yes. Died for your sins, but you still need to get forgiven.
Oh, and then you just ask him, so where's Jesus now? Oh, he's in heaven on the right-hand side of God. So the sacrifice again was? He died?
A weekend. The sacrifice was a weekend.
A short weekend at that. I never read the whole thing, but the Passover conspiracy, I think it was called.
Passover conspiracy?
Yeah, it had something to do with how the guy, Jesus, whoever, tried to set it up because he knew Passover, he wouldn't be up there the whole damn time because they used to put people off the cross when it happened to be Passover. And everything was going good to the soldier stuck him in the side. Because he knew he wouldn't have to stay up there the whole he died.
Big thing with Jesus is you hear about when he was born, and then he disappears, and you don't hear about him until he's older. And there's actually lots of scriptures of when he was growing up. Richard Carrier, do you know who Richard Carrier is?
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of stories of when Jesus was like a kid.
Oh, really?
And how he was like a freak to everyone. He was like that freaky kid that had like special powers. He's kind of like the Twilight Zone. The kid who can like send people away.
That was a good one. That scared me for the longest time.
But that's kind of how Jesus was. Jesus was like that freaky kid that scared people.
Yeah, don't forget when Twilight Zone came out, I used to watch it on reruns. There were no reruns.
I thought you were going to say religiously.
No. Oh, well, yeah, that's a good one. Yes. Yeah, that one really got me for a while.
Yeah. He acts the same actor, Ed Mummy, I think his name.
Yeah.
Because he was Will Robinson. They actually, when they brought back the Twilight Zone, I don't know if you saw it, but they did a sequel to that episode where his child was more powerful than he was.
Oh my! I never seen that one. Yeah, well, he was on Babylon 5.
Yeah,
and
that was an awesome show.
Yeah, I was. There's a couple who does videos when they watch things. They're one of those people who does what they call it, not reviews, but reaction videos.
Oh, like
but it only took them a year to get around to finally. They didn't do a reaction to it. They finally watched the Forbidden Planet.
Yeah, like Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, they do that with other things like singing, whatever the case is.
They do it like with B movies.
Got around after a year of me pestering them to watch Forbidden Planet. They're so glad. I said, now one of those episodes on Babylon 5 doesn't have the exact same, but they go to one planet with this one person who runs the whole shit in caboodle, and the power supply is 20 miles by 20 miles by 20 miles, and has these shafts, and it's like a upgraded version, but it's from Forbidden Planet. And I said, every so often you watch old movie or old TV shows, and they would use some of the props from that movie. The power meters and stuff would be sometimes in the background and shit like that. Robbie the Robot was used several times, modified even sometimes.
Yeah. Got in that part of the conversation with that kid about creativity. There is no creativity. Everything has been done before. Like,
okay,
just taking what's been done before and mixing it up and doing something new.
So what else is new? I'm sure.
And that's what I said. Your Bible was basically a rehash of another religion.
Right. But that's the same thing. I'm sure even who's the great writer? Oh my God, the English writer. The name's there and it won't come out. the big old Shakespeare. You gotta believe that this is, you go to a pub and you BS and then blah, blah, stories go around. It's rehashes. I mean, how many ways can you do things?
He's taking it from Greek tragedies.
There's something people want to get. There's something, an arc of how a person goes from this to something else. That's the problem with a lot of people right now. They're so entrenched in Star Wars, the first episodes. Now they're going through a new arc, and they don't know how to handle it. Where me, when Star Wars came out, I was 28.
Yeah.
My son was just born. Okay. And
Star Wars?
I'm watching this thing. It's a cowboy western.
Yeah.
And at the end of the movie, you see Darth Vader get away. And I go to my wife. I said, "Hey, there's going to be another episode coming out. He's coming back." When it was all new. And when it first came out, the critics weren't nice to it until it started doing well in the theaters. Then all of a sudden, oh yeah, well, it's not too bad of a movie, blah, 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 blah. And they complain about the girl behind me here.
Yeah.
Learning too quickly. I said, how much training did Luke have to begin with? And then they complain about, the one movie being a lot like, The New Hope and stuff. I says, how did he also learn how to fly an X-Wing? It takes training to learn. You could take any jet, guy from an X-15 or whatever. Yeah. He's got to relearn the next plane. He's got to learn his characteristics. He's got to learn where stuff is laid out and stuff. You just don't jump in and I'm flying. Come on, give me a break. You have no problem with Luke doing that. You have no problem when he shoots those torpedoes that they make a right-hand turn and go down into the tube. Now I'm thinking, why? Looking at, of course, this many years later, why couldn't they have it concealed under a plate? So you can't shoot this way into the hole. So you had to come that way. And then when it hits that, it bounces down and in. Now I can buy that. More so than an all of a sudden it makes a damn right-hand hook.
Well, the whole thing that it was a ventilation shaft.
Yeah.
So I guess it was sucking in. It was sucking in.
Suck what in? It's in space. Hello.
Well, they had an explosion in space of,
I just watched the latest one, and it's a club that goes to the movies, and right away you got those people saying, well, they're shooting up. Did you see the movie? The latest one?
Last Jedi.
Yeah, did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so no spoilers. Any spoilers here, stormtroopers die. And now I go like this. Because of Luke. Spoiler, but you won't know until you see it, right?
Well, that they killed me. The reaction when he comes down to fight Kylo Ren, and his beard is brown.
Yeah, well, they made him
look like he was a hologram the whole time. Like, duh. Do you think he colored his beard to come? I was like, I'm gonna fight this guy, but I want to look young. I want to look good.
Yeah, but anyway, what was I thinking about with that? They were saying, well, how the ships, they're shooting at our range. I said, well, if they did it realistically, the one ships would be way over there, look like specks, and the other ships would be way over there, it wouldn't look very good dramatically on the freaking damn screen.
Yeah.
They don't think about it. It's poetic license with, camera work. And then they say, well, as soon as the ship gets hit, it starts to fall. And at the time I wasn't thinking, but they're not in orbit. They're hovering. So of course they're going to fall because the gravity is still up there. It might be 80% of what it is down on the surface, but it's still going to start falling. But see, they're throwing up objections about something and they don't know the physics.
Well, they're trying to find reasons not to like it because they want to keep the iconic, and when you start adding more details, then you have to adjust remember to the new information.
Right away, they were all upset because who's her parents? Who's Ren's parents? Who was Darth Vader's parents? Oh, I just had a kid. Yeah, you didn't fuck around, right? You just had a kid. You know? I mean, we just know her mother. She was a slave, and we don't know who the father is.
Yeah.
But you have no problem with that. But you got a problem with her parents.
Yeah.
So I'm saying cognitive dissonance. I mean, don't you go and look at the beginning of the other thing? You don't know who.
Yeah. Because they want it to be a certain way. They want the inherited. They want to see the
life don't go that way.
What's the word?
Yeah, but life
doesn't. That's what they want.
Yeah,
they want it to be that way.
Life doesn't work that way. You don't have those fights that you want because life doesn't go that way. Then people are a lot of times they say when I see people fighting or something on movies or something, I said no. I took some martial arts. You know, you go through routines, but when you start free sparring, all that stuff goes out the window. You know, there's no moves. I mean, yes, you're doing but there's not that routine that you see when people free spar. It's completely different. You don't go around punching a bag all the time as a boxer. You learn where your hands are. You learn what you can do. You learn where your power is. That's what you're learning. Outside of that, all bets are off. It's reality is different from performance.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I go into the movie and I'm see what they got to say. Do I like the story or not? But I'm not going to bring all this baggage with me. Well, Luke's doing this. When Luke just threw the damn lightsaber over his shoulder. Yeah, well, don't you hear he had it? He wanted to secure. He got away from it.
I thought they did that for comic relief, and I thought it was brilliant. That was like the funniest thing.
Yeah,
and people getting upset over it. So it just seemed like it was so perfect. It's like this big giant mission to bring him back his lightsaber. He's like, yeah.
Fuck it, man. Don't you understand? I left all this shit. So, but Luke's
exactly. He's like, I came here to get away from this shit, and what did you brought it back to me?
Right.
I don't want it.
And he went through a character arc, didn't he? He went through like giving up on everything and slowly coming back, and at the end do his thing. Yeah. You know, they don't look at that. They don't look at the big picture. They don't look at what's going on with the character development. You know, you want Luke to stay some way. He's human. I hate to tell you that. I don't care if you're a whatever. You know, you're still, wake up. You're still human. That's the problem when people are typing messages. There's about 20-30 second delay between when I type and you recognize it. And finally, that feedback gets to me.
Well, I feel like with the death trap, I've been up since 7 o'clock this morning.
Don't do that.
Because my daughter's in Girl Scouts. They're selling cookies this morning. And today is her day with her mother. I had to spend 2 hours arguing with her mother to take her daughter to sell Girl Scout cookies. And she's like, today's my day with her. I don't want to spend it selling cookies. Like, you're still spending the day with her. I mean, it's not like that times how about you do something with her that she needs to do rather than taking her to church, which is all her mother does.
Yeah, it's funny. Oh, they have people complaining, $5 a box. I said,
It's a money-making thing.
I remember when they complained about it being 25 cents a box. And then it went to 35 and the world blew up. That's the problem. You get to be older also. No, you don't know.
Yeah.
I remember when a nickel is what we consider $1 today.
Yeah.
A nickel would buy you a real candy bar.
Yeah.
And my father complained about that inflation.
Well, I remember my mother was actually born in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I remember my grandfather saying, nickel, you got a candy bar, and then it got smaller and smaller and smaller. Then it was 10 cents, and it got smaller and smaller, and then it was 25 cents and smaller and smaller. And by the time I came around, it was 20. I think it was 25 cents when I was little.
Yeah.
And movies that were $1. And when they went to $1.50, I was like, $1.50 for a movie? That's crazy.
Yeah, well, don't forget, I'm from the Philly area. I was born in Philly and I lived in Levittown, but you had soft pretzels. I guess you know what they are. They were a nickel each at the time. And of course, like I said, they would complain about those prices. And now I go to a mall and they get, oh, it's good. It's not bad. It's not a real soft pretzel, but it's not Phillies. But yeah, it's bucks. So it's like 20 to 1 right now.
Yeah.
A $20 bill when I was a kid was money.
Yeah, $20 was like, that was like
an OD on chocolate.
Yeah. That was a huge amount. Now it's like $20. Only $20?
25 cents for a Saturday matinee at the movies. You had penny candy.
Yeah, I remember penny candy.
The little blue mints wrapped in the foil, and stuff like that, So if you had $1, you had more than enough money to take care of your refreshments and all popcorn and the whole bit, and still come home with something.
Yeah. But
nobody made anything either.
That's true.
As a machinist, maybe he made $2 an hour if he was doing good.
Yeah,
a lot more than that, and I'm retired from the Fed. Social Security.
I decided to take a couple of years off to my daughter's 9, and while my marriage was crumbling, and I realized part of the problem I was having was my wife wanted to isolate my daughter, just wanted to keep her home, keep her to herself, wouldn't let her have any friends, wouldn't let her any friends come over, didn't get her into any kind of activities, and that was making me crazy at work. So I decided to take a couple of years off of work just to be home for my daughter, and then my wife decided to leave, which actually in the end worked out to the better because now I get my daughter only half the time, but when she's with me, her mother's not there, so I don't have to worry about her influence. So I can actually take her to do stuff.
That's a shame. I hate to see marriages break up, but whatever.
So but eventually,
your wife's a control freak. I take it. Well, she's doing with religion.
She's not so much a control freak as she is afraid of everything.
That you control if you're afraid.
Yeah, but I mean, but she's less in control as she is controlled by her fear.
Yeah, but then you'll react to what you do.
Yeah. So she just
that's a shame.
Dedicates her life to church. And just that's all. She works overnight. In fact, my alarm was going off. She works late night, so I go over there and stay with my daughter. But she's either sleeping or praying or going to church.
Or praying to sleep. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when my daughter's over there, she's just
Well, she's using church to control everything. I go to church, everything will be cool. Like all the people in the South when the hurricanes come, and stuff like that. My son's probably sick of hearing me because I watch the weather report. Don't worry about it, people. Jesus is going to save you. There's no problem. Just keep praying. I'll do it. It's a man. And like I say, and the excuses. And then I have people on Facebook, the religious ones. And most of the ones that are really religious are the black.
Yeah.
And that's a whole story there.
No, I know.
And I can give you some reasons for that too. But Jesus, thank you for another day. I woke up. I said, yeah, nobody ever dies during the day. It's always at night people die. No, we had a couple guys. One guy, I hope he's okay because he was in the military. Black guy from down Florida. He's originally from Haiti and stuff. Anyway, but you get into the history of the black culture in America. And one of the biggest things was, as slaves, you couldn't get together as a group normally.
Yeah.
Where would you get together as a group? In the church. So you can see a lot of pull of the church as a community, because outside of that, they didn't have really a community.
Yeah.
And even in church, they had to watch it because they would still F with them. But by and large, they can go to there, do their thing, and have that community. And you can see why the church became really involved in their society, because that was what they had for society.
Well, I think it's also partially in this what happened in Mexico and Spain is they were given the option of a religion that was not theirs, and they basically were beaten and killed if they didn't accept the religion.
Well, not only that, they didn't know about diseases, and how come these people come in and all of a sudden we're dying of stuff like smallpox, shit like that, and it must be a strong God because this shit's happening to us. But another little funny thing is, if you go into the Aztec or the Maya, one of them, they had a lot of blood sacrifice.
Yeah.
Jesus. They have a blood sacrifice too.
Well, I call Christianity a death cult, and like, oh, it's not a cult. Yeah. Like, oh, it is too. You know what a cult is? It's like, well, it's not a death cult. Like, well, do you know what a death cult is? It certainly is. Yeah. My ex-wife is Mexican, and I told her probably one too many times. The only reason why she's Catholic is because Spain came in and killed everybody who refused to accept Catholicism.
Yeah,
she's a product of evolution.
And like I said, a lot of them did say, "Yeah, we might as well," because we're dying from these diseases, and they're not. So they must have something in on us with their God.
Well, I got to go.
Yeah. Good talk.
Yeah.
This is what I've been wanting to do for a while. Is this being aired or not going to be aired? This is just.
Oh, it is.
Oh, it's being aired. Hello, suckers. Oh, okay.
No, I got tired of. Well, no, I kind of got tired of doing videos because I wanted to have more conversations. Part of the idea of doing the videos was to open up having conversations, and the conversations are always not so much one-sided, but it's just there's too much of a delay between saying something and getting a response.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's too easy to be snarky.
And and not only that, it's like I'm a touch typist, but every so often I slip up and I hit the wrong thing because the thing's on my lap, and blah blah blah. And I got to respell, and I hate that. Yeah. The long delay at this talk like this,
Yeah.
This is instant results,
Yeah.
Oh, this story ain't going anywhere. He's falling asleep on me. I'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, well, I gotta go.
I want to talk. I mean, anything. I can go the gambit. I really can.
Yeah, me too. I can. There's not too much I can't talk about. Like, if I don't know, I'll just make it up.
Oh, there you go. That works. Why not? Trump does. Got him back in there. I never put the P word in front of him.
Yeah, either do I. I can't.
It's just Trump. He's not presidential. I hate to say it.
It's so bizarre that he's in office. I mean, Reagan was a politician at least. Trump is a schmuck. I mean, he is just. I can't.
I'm hoping this really bites him in the ass because, like I said before, in businesses, he'd go in, do a spiel. He could say anything, nothing back. Okay, and then he'd walk out of the business deal and let his underlings take care of the details. Now he is Mr. Details, and he doesn't have that through his head.
No.
He does not understand what he says is nobody covering for you, buddy.
Yeah.
And I watch what's her name on the.
Well, they're not covering for him. They're just making excuses for him.
That's covering for him, and I call these people traitors. When they come out to what's her name, the secretary, the one for press, she comes out, well, blah, blah, blah. I feel like screaming traitor because you're lying to us. We know what's going on. Stop lying. Why do you have that job? You should say, no, I ain't taking this job and walk.
Yeah.
Nobody's honing you to that job. like the first one. And he can't get any jobs now. She ain't going to get nothing after this.
My fear is that the Democrats will once again find the worst possible candidate, like with Bush.
No, I'm not worried about that so much because
I don't know.
I've seen the worst possible candidate and a few layers below that already in Trump. We wouldn't be going through this crap with Hillary. We would not be worrying about Medicare. We would not be worried about.
People are stupid. People are idiotic. People, they get it in their head that God chose Trump, and it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter how bad. I mean, people compare, how bad. I mean, I was no fan of Obamacare to begin with.
Well, he wasn't afraid of it.
But the people who benefited from it voted for Trump because they complained about it. And then when it's taken away from them, they're like, oh, why did this get taken away? Like, that's what you voted for.
Here's the short story on Obamacare. He wanted to get something at least through. So he did a lot of compromise because that's what our government is.
Yeah.
And then he was hoping to then slowly.
Yes.
I
know.
Republicans did everything they could. Everything they could to make Mr. Darky fail.
Yeah. Our two political parties each one does something very well. The Democrats are very good at doing nothing. The Republicans are very good at undoing anything that the Democrats managed to do.
Well, see, they did do something. Because my grandfather was so happy when he finally got Medicare. That's how far back that goes. That's like 60 something. And other Social Security and stuff. And I always get a kick out. They go entitlements. Oh, entitlements. Oh, like when you buy stocks, you have entitlements coming back to you for kickback. Now, see, I have a federal pension, so I get Social Security because I got my 40 quarters in. A whole under. I always like to tell people, I have Social Security. It's $185 a month. They say, how do you live on that? I said, I get a real pension coming in from the Fed.
Yeah.
And reason it's not more is because it's way back when what used to happen. I know you're trying to go to sleep, but what used to happen was real.
My daughter.
Yeah, real double dipping, where somebody worked 20 years in the military, come out, get his pension, and then start working for the Fed, and tack that 20 years onto his other time, which shouldn't have been. He should have started from zero.
We got that in Chicago, all over the place.
Yeah, but he should start from zero again and build his next 10, 15, 20 years on that. So that was true double dipping because he was getting time put onto his, and the more time, of course, the more you get. So that was, instead of fixing that, they do it other ways. As always, they always fix it the wrong way.
Yeah.
They never just close that loop for anybody new. You're going to start from zero, and this is how it's going to be. It's just kill everything, and then and our problem with the government is there's a cutoff. You make so much, and you make a little bit more, you don't get nothing.
Yeah,
it should be gradual, but see that takes education.
Yeah,
to figure out the tables right.
The trouble is the people who are benefiting from the system are fighting very hard to keep the system the way it is.
Yeah, well, that's something new. Okay, I'm gonna let you go to bed. Well, let me know what you could do too. Is like I say, you got my, Facebook. You can just put the link there. And you're saying, give me a thing, and of course you finally put it on Facebook. Because I'm not going to drop my email on this. No
problem.
My email address again. It's a pain.
Well, I got it now, so
yeah, that's great.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay, good talk. Catch you later.
Bye.